Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video here at MT Paradise. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over all the crazy modifications I've done to my Porsche Cayman S. And it's a little washed out here, but there we go. Now you can see like the giant wing on the back. But I am up super early because obviously in Texas it gets crazy hot. So I'm usually up before the sun is, so I had to wait a little bit to do this video. It's getting a little bit lighter out, but honestly just trying to beat the heat. So let's get started with this video and go over all the modifications I've done in my car. And I'm pretty much going to try to do it in order of when the stuff actually took place, kind of like in order, like I did this part, then next I did this, and then this, and so on. So here we go. Alright, so starting off, a lot of people see the Apex Vinyl Solutions, and if you don't know, that's actually a company that me and Cameron started, and it's pretty much like our vinyl company. So this is the second car we've ever done. The first one we did a golf livery on his Porsche Cayman S, and it's right here. So it looks absolutely incredible. So then we did my car and we came up with this insane design. It was kind of back and forth on Forza for a while trying to get the aspects of it down, but it's exactly what I wanted, and I just wanted these colors, and it turned out so well. Like, this is, like I said, the second car we've ever done. It was kind of like a trial and error, especially with all the crazy designs going down the side, all the different crossovers and everything. It took a lot of knifeless tape, and it was right before Christmas. So Christmas Eve of 2019 is actually when we finished it. I drove home at like 11 o'clock to midnight and went to bed, woke up Christmas morning, and this was in the garage. So it was absolutely insane, and I just really love it. All right, so the next modification I did to the car is the exhaust. That exhaust is actually not in this car anymore. It was a central exit Fab Speed exhaust. I mean, the reason I'm bringing it up is it still has an important role in the current exhaust. So I should have pulled it down, but over here you can see the exhaust would have come out the back, and this is a resonator, had an X pipe to two pipes coming out in the middle. Same thing on the other side. These are actually the pieces of the old exhaust. So this Fab Speed exhaust, I essentially pulled off the back half of it later on and got a bunch of just straight pieces of pipe. And as you can see, you got pieces of straight pipe to come straight out the back, which you can see right there. And then I actually kept the Fab Speed exhaust tips, but I did keep more of the Fab Speed exhaust, which might be a little bit easier to see on this side with the light. The catalytic converter's right here. Let's get the focus. There we go. So the exhaust kind of arches over the wheel, kind of goes up back behind there, and then it comes back down, and pretty much right there is where the bracket is. That then has the exhaust tips that go straight out the back, which you can kind of see it right here. So the pipe that arches over the wheel, that's still the original Fab Speed exhaust that I upgraded to, but then after the arch straight out is the new pipe, which now it has the style of the split exhaust, whereas the Fab Speed had the two pipes right in the middle. So with this, it's significantly shorter. I really like the split exhaust design versus the central exit. And then doing this exhaust, I have no tune on the car, and it still has catalytic converters as I just showed you, and I'm able to do stuff like this. So if you've noticed that obviously the back bumper has this crazy diffuser, and you're probably wondering, well, what did it look like before? I actually had to cut out the whole bottom section of the bumper because I had like kind of like a little plastic diffuser, and then I had like a cutout for the exhaust right in the middle. So with this setup, I knew I was going to have to cut out the bottom of the bumper, and you can already see that has some giant slots cut in it for the chassis mounted wing. And if you're like, oh my gosh, he destroyed the car, I did not destroy my car. I did not cut apart my car whatsoever. And a lot of people don't believe me. They're like, obviously, yes, you did. Right up on top of my parts pile is the original rear bumper to my car, which you can still see like the silver trim from when it got wrapped. So I had the bumper wrapped on the car, and then once I got the new rear bumper, I was able just to take the old bumper, just set it up out of the way so that nothing will happen to it. So then if I ever want to do revert back to stock, everything on this car is completely reversible. I can unbolt it, pull off the wrap, I can do everything and go back to the original stock car if I needed to. So something I didn't want to do was permanently modify anything on the car. So in the case of the rear bumper, yes, it needed to be cut into, and that's why I bought another rear bumper from a junkyard actually. And it was actually pretty cheap. It was unpainted, just raw plastic. I was able to wrap it and everything, and it fits and it looks super good on the back of the car, and you can't really tell a difference. And a lot of people think that this is the original bumper because it has that high gloss with the vinyl, and the vinyl actually laid on it really well. Since I did the exhaust and it had this huge cutout, right here up underneath you could actually see the transmission housing, and it looked absolutely terrible. So then obviously I needed some kind of diffuser, something to kind of cover that up. So I hit up a guy named Mad Matt. He's here in San Antonio, and he was the one that made this crazy rear diffuser for my car, and it was essentially custom made to fit my setup. It still has plenty of, I wanted like a huge opening here just so I could have plenty of airflow around the exhaust, so that whenever I'm like driving really fast, or if I'm like revving and then I go places, just high RPMs, the exhaust heat can actually have a place to escape. And then here in the middle, I wanted the like actual diffuser, which I think it looks really good. Everything is bolt-on, so if something happens, if I scrape one of these or if one of them breaks something, I can take off just that one section, replace it, and it's not going to be like replacing the entire thing. So with that, I also had Mad Matt do these crazy side skirts. So you can see they stick out a little bit, and then it has like this little fin that sticks up, which I really like. It's pulling from a lot of similar designs of some exotics, which looks so good. And then he also did the front splitter all the way around. Also some little fins sticking up on the front corners. And then something I did later on was add the splitter rods, which these splitter rods are actually secured in there really nice. They're not like screwed into like a cheap plastic part. I drilled a hole through the metal, so it's actually bolted in there with a lock washer and a lock nut. And then this one actually attaches firmly up underneath. It's up out of the way, and it actually provides really good support to the front splitter. And also I just really like the look of it. So I know I said I was going to try to keep everything in order, but I forgot the very first modification I ever did before the wrap was actually Cayman air intake. So the air goes into the engine through these little side intakes on the side of the car, and on each side is where the air intake comes in together. So all that is Cayman, and that was like the very first modification I did. I already noticed a little bit of sound difference and slight performance difference, which is a lot better. And I know for a fact that the car is getting a good amount of air, and the filters work really well, especially being Cayman. Alright, so a lot of the upgrades on the car are around back. So here we are again. And obviously the biggest thing that everybody always mentions is the giant 6-foot wing. From a perspective like this, it actually looks like it's wider than the car. But when you come around to the side, you can actually see that it's perfectly flush with the fenders, and it's like that on both sides. So the wing itself is the exact width of the car. Whenever I had it made, I had it ordered exactly in that size, and it was ordered from 9 Lives Racing, which they make some pretty awesome stuff, and it's an actual race wing. They have like a little gurney flap in the back, so like this little metal trim. I could take an end plate off, slide that out, put a new one in that's a little bit taller, so when the air comes over the wing, it actually will kick it up a little bit higher. And it's not the air that goes over the wing that's super important, it's the air that goes under the wing. So with the gurney flap kicking the air up a little bit higher, you can take the air that comes under and you can bring it up a little bit more, giving the car actually a lot more downforce. But you can kind of see like that curvature of the wing right there. And on the bottom, you can see it has like really nice bold curvature. Like this is very similar to an actual airplane wing, obviously inverted, so it gives it a lot more downforce. But 9 Lives Racing did an amazing job. Something else they can do is the points to weld it on. I got to pick exactly how far apart I wanted those, and knowing in the back of the car where the uprights were going to come out of from the frame, I was able to have them put it in the exact position so that the uprights can come straight out and straight up, and they don't have to go at any kind of angle or anything. So it just makes it look so much cleaner and so much nicer. Another reason before I did buy the rear bumper is I had this chassis mounted wing kind of envisioned way before then, so I knew that I was going to need some kind of bumper to cut giant holes into, which, as you can see, the giant slots that were cut in to be able to make this happen. But what you can't see is Brandon and Cameron from CB Welding did an insane job at all of this. So what you see right now is just the uprights coming up and then the cables going across with the giant wing mounted. Another thing that they did was, let's go back to the parts shelf. You can kind of see a little bit like right here, there's like the old bash bar. It's kind of like the rear bumper that we unbolted from the frame. Essentially, they unbolted the bash bar from the frame, pulled it off, and they made a new one out of steel, and then we're able to weld on these end plates. So these plates actually come straight out. You can kind of see, yep, right in there, you can see the really nice welds. So those are welded in, and then they stick out, which then you can see where the uprights bolt onto those. So if I ever need to take the bumper off, I just unbolt the uprights, slide the bumper off of those two posts, and all that's securely bolted to the frame of the car. So any bit of downforce on the wing pushes the frame directly, and it's not going to be pushing any body panels. Like a lot of the ones you can buy online will bolt onto the rear hatch, but whenever you're going fast, it actually pushes and flexes down on the hatch before it actually pushes the downforce onto the frame itself. So doing it this way, 100% of downforce is on the frame of the car where you want it to be. So any kind of race car, a lot of times they actually have it on top, but they'll bolt it further down and bolt it directly to the frame. And then obviously once we finish the wing, like we wrapped it up to make it match the car perfectly. The same exact blue, the same yellow, and then the satin dark basalt gray is actually what we did for the lettering on the top. So all three of the main colors on the car have been incorporated onto the wing, and I really love these giant yellow end plates. And then 9 Lives Racing does this like cool little like cutout of the metal. So I just kind of like angled that because I knew the vinyl wasn't going to really work well trying to wrap around that and then trying to cut out the vinyl to match it. So kind of give it that angled look. So at night in a distance, all you see is a yellow, and it kind of looks like it has that cool angled cutoff on the leading edge. But then whenever you see it in person, you're like, oh, okay, that actually looks really cool. And then something you might have noticed is this duckbill spoiler. So the spoiler used to be on here was a nice flat little wing. So then whenever the car would be at certain speeds, it'll raise up and they'll kind of tilt forward a little bit so that it gives it a little bit extra downforce. But once I had added this giant chassis mounted wing, I knew that it was going to be, I don't want a wing on a wing, so I didn't want it to come up or anything. So since I knew it was going to be kind of fixed to stay down, I wanted to give it like an extra, like a little bit of styling. So I really like the duckbill look. And let's see, you can kind of see some of that curvature right there. So I really wanted that look. So this is a complete replacement to the original wing. And then a lot of people think these cables are just for show or decoration. They don't really know exactly what they are. They actually have a huge function. Without those cables, this whole thing would probably get ripped apart. So the cables are meant to prevent the uprights from kind of swaying left and right. So whenever they kind of go one direction, the cable will pull and be super taut. And then whenever they pull the other way, the other cable will then kind of grab it. So with both these cables kind of tight, it prevents like the swaying and leaning of back and forth of the vertical uprights. So for stability, these cables are extremely important. And then you've probably already seen it, but the final exterior upgrade I did to the car as of now is these carbon fiber side air intake scoops. So before the intake scoops, like the hole was at a slight angle, but a lot of the like rushing air would be able to get sucked into the intake. But adding these intake scoops actually sticks it out a lot further, so it's able to capture significantly more air into the intake, which I really enjoy. Plus the Audi R8 has a giant carbon fiber side blade that comes down, and an R8's air intake is actually the exact same position. So I feel like it gives it that kind of like supercar, like exotic look with the carbon fiber, and it's actually functional. It's not decorative. It's legitimate air intake scoop. And the Cayman GT4 actually comes with the air intake scoop. However, that one is, I'm not sure if it's plastic or what, but it's actually like paint matched to the body. But for me, I really prefer the actual like carbon fiber, and that weave looks so good. Like, it's really good quality, and I think it just looks outstanding, especially on the side of the car. when you can see a huge section of exposed carbon fiber on the side of the car, which I really enjoy. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go over to the interior of the car, which, as you can see, there's like the blue kind of carbon fiber look. I was sampling with some vinyl and found a blue carbon fiber, went ahead and installed that, and I really enjoy it. Like, the exterior of the car is blue. I really like carbon fiber, so blue carbon was definitely the way to go. If this interior looks really familiar, it's actually the exact interior from the Porsche 911, like the 991 body style. So the whole center cluster, like all this is like exactly the same. There's so much aspects of the car that are exactly the same, and about 75% of the serial numbers on the parts actually have 991 serial numbers on it. So it's obvious that they did recycle parts. But not only do I have the carbon fiber trim upgrade in the car, once I open the glove box, I can flip this on, and I have in-floor lighting, which I have it set to like a light blue to kind of match like the exterior of the car. So I have lights wired in up in the front, and then I also have lights wired in under the seat. So whenever like your leg is sitting right here, you don't have a shadow being cast from like the lights here have like a dark shadow, or the other way around. So I have it nice and balanced with a ton of light here. So I think it looks really cool having like the lights in the footwell, and there's a bunch of different effects that you can change and whatnot to make it change colors with the music, or you can put it to whatever color you want. But I don't know if it's going to show up on camera very well, but the final interior upgrade I did, which you can see on the A-pillar, Alcantara reupholster. So it looks so good. Like I said, it's kind of hard to show up on camera, but the whole roof now is Alcantara, and then going down each A-pillar is Alcantara, which to me is incredible. So the Cayman GTS, and also when you look at the 911 GT3 RS and GT2 RS, they all have Alcantara everywhere. So I kind of wanted to like upgrade my car to be able to have that same like Alcantara aspects of some like higher end cars, and I think it just looks and feels really cool. So that is like one of my favorite upgrades I did recently, is the Alcantara headliner and A-pillars. And then of course in the little center console you can see this little opening. So I like to troll a lot of people whenever I say I actually have NOS in the car. And then when I open up this little door, there it is. It's a little NOS right next to my USB. So it's supposed to be a cigarette lighter and then like a little ashtray, but I will never smoke in this car. So I just went ahead and converted this into like a little a little NOS bottle holder. So I really like it. It's a good way to kind of troll people a little bit, and it's a little cute touch. And some of you observant viewers might notice that I had a giant Porsche banner that went across the top. So it was in the same exact satin neon yellow, and it said Porsche going across the top of the windshield, which to me was like one of my favorite aspects of the car. However, this is a brand new windshield. So the other day I actually had a truck in front of me do like a little burnout trying to show off or something. It kicked up a huge rock, and it hit right below my windshield wiper and cracked up. And obviously I had to get the windshield replaced. So this is a brand new windshield that was put in this week. I have not even had this windshield outside at all. So the car's been in the garage ever since. So now the next thing I have to do is make a new windshield banner that goes across the top, because every single race car you always have that giant windshield banner, and that's very distinctive whenever you look at a race car from the front, is it always has that giant banner. So that's one of the next things I'm going to have to do is make that, have the plotter cutter in my house. So one of these days I just need to like spend the effort and just sit down and make it happen. Alright guys, so as of right now, that's all the modifications I've done to my car. Other than obviously new brakes, new tires, oil changes, all that kind of stuff, upgrading the filters. So as of right now, that's all the modifications. But if you guys have any questions about any of the modifications, you can go back to my channel on all the different things I talked about. I have videos on me actually doing like kind of installing, upgrading, all that kind of stuff. So you guys can definitely go to my channel and go through all my videos to see all the different upgrades I did to this car. And like kind of like the full in-depth video, especially with the, let me focus, with the rear wing. That video was absolutely insane with Cameron and Brandon. But yeah, everything else, like I said, there's videos on it, and the exhaust one I did with my friend Cameron, which that was a really funny video. Whenever I first started it, the look on my face, I was just completely shocked. I had no idea what we had just done because the car sounded insane. Oh my God. So yeah, those videos are pretty funny and they're really cool to check out. So definitely go down, check those out. But if you guys like this video, definitely go down, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more videos like this with my crazy Porsche Cayman S or even other videos in the future, like I said in my last video, if my channel gets to 1,000, I might sell my car and upgrade to something else. Which if I do upgrade to something else, that obviously means new builds. It's going to be absolutely crazy. If I do get something else, it's going to have pretty much similar upgrades to it with crazy wrap, crazy visual upgrades with actual performance stuff as well. So yeah, if you guys definitely want to see that, go down, hit that subscribe button, and share this video, spread it, show your friends, have other people subscribe, because the more subscribers I get, the crazier stuff I can do, and it's going to be absolutely fun. Like I said before, like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.